Not what I expected. Yo, what's going on? It's someone that's no one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report is coming from Phoenix off Irrawood. When this happened, 2002, the drug used was nicotine at a dose of about a half a cigarette per occasion. The route of administration was smoked. Gender, female. Weight, 80 pounds. Age, 15. Height, 4'11". Prior experience includes pills. And the setting, at her house in the backyard and her room. So here we have another nicotine report, which I believe someone requested a tobacco report specifically. This one is pretty interesting though, in regards to how a newbie may react to smoking the first time. Also, it shows how someone may come to the decision to smoke tobacco. There are a few clear influences presented here, so I think you guys will enjoy this one, and without further ado, let's dive right into this. I was 15 first time I smoked. A few months before, my boyfriend, who we'll call W, left his half-empty pack of cigarettes at my house. He said he didn't want them. I hid them, so my parents wouldn't find them, and forgot about them completely. One day, I was really pissed off and depressed. I was tired of popping the usual pills and wanted to try something different. No one was home, and I remembered I had those cigs. I went outside, sat under a tree in my reclining lawn chair, and lit up. I took a few little puffs to try and get used to the smoke. Then, I inhaled really big, which was incredibly stupid. I started coughing so bad I thought I was going to choke. After hitting it a few times, however, I quickly got used to it. Immediately, I started feeling lightheaded and dizzy. I stopped right there and put it out. My parents would be home any minute, and I didn't want to be all messed up in front of them. I got up, but fell right back down into my chair. Eventually, I was able to stand and tried walking, but stumbled and couldn't manage to walk straight, almost like I was drunk. After many tries, I eventually went inside and went to bed. That night, I had the worst nightmares I could imagine. A few days later, my boyfriend was over, and I wanted to smoke again and at least finish one whole cig just to see what it was like. W asked if I was sure because he knew I had never really smoked before. I said yes, and we both lit one up. I was sitting on my windowsill, which is pretty high up, and he was standing beside me on the floor. After getting about halfway through it, I started feeling dizzy and lightheaded again. I told W to hold on to me because I had this feeling I was going to fall forward out of my window onto the ground. I barely finished the cig and fell backward into his arms, and we both fell onto the floor. I felt really hot and started sweating. I tried to stand up, but couldn't. I also had some nausea, but it went away quickly. W picked me up and put me on my bed. I looked up at the ceiling, and it was spinning. It was making my head hurt, so I shut my eyes. An alarmed W said I was shaking. I opened my eyes and looked at my arms, which were indeed shaking. They continued like that for about 20 minutes. But even after it calmed down, I was still a little shaky and unstable for about another 30 minutes after. W was freaking out a little, saying he shouldn't have let me smoke. After he left, I went to bed and again had nightmares. I have no clue why all of that happened. I had never heard of anyone doing that. Maybe it's because I'm small for my age. I'm 15, 4'11", and 80 pounds, but I have been around secondhand smoke for most of my life. To this day, when I smoke, I still get those symptoms and nightmares, just not as intensely as in these two instances. Pretty interesting story, but a pretty common experience. We'll break down how nicotine affects the body and compare this to our past reports. So nicotine is a stimulating substance that is commonly found in the tobacco plant. Here, cigarettes. I'm sure most of you are aware of what it is. It certainly isn't limited to tobacco these days, though. You can get e-liquids, hit the damn Juul pod, have it in snus, gum. There's a variety of methods these days, but smoking cigarettes in 2002 was most likely the way to go compared to today. But it causes a short-term buzz rather than an actual high, with most of the feelings not lasting any longer than a half hour, if that. But the effects experienced can include typical effects of a stimulant like increased heart rate, blood pressure, appetite suppression, possible anxiety, wakefulness, and more. The dose will vary the effects, but typically when someone does too much, you can expect things like sweating, nausea, dizziness, feeling lightheaded, and possibly passing out. We see a lot of those effects here in this report, and also when we look at our past reports, which we're only going to bring up Sickness by DMB Fan 41 and Snooze by Fresh Taste. In Sickness, DMB Fan 41 decided to smoke a cigar and a pack of cigs with a friend. On his fifth cig, he started feeling sick and pretty much got nicotine poisoning, which most likely happened here to Phoenix as well. Then in Snooze, Fresh Taste took Snooze for the first time, and Snooze tends to be more potent compared to other tobacco products. So, to say the least, he felt anxiety, dizziness, sick, and eventually threw up a few times. But it's clear that when you overstep your limits on nicotine, you're in for a world of just feeling sick rather than good. But we're going to end it there today. If you guys did like this and want to see more on nicotine, tobacco, or whatever substance, let me know in the comments below. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, follow the socials. It's been someone that's no one, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.